Okay. Chairman updates. Short and sweet tonight. I hope you're all enjoying your summer so far, and I can't believe it's mid-August already, and shortly school will begin again. This coming school year will bring some exciting new programs and opportunities to the Thompson Public School System. And I feel very confident that our administrators, most of whom are on vacation, but that's okay, good. I hope they are enjoying their time away. Teachers and staff will be more than prepared to meet any challenges that might arise. And the new school year will get off to a fantastic start. And that's all I have to say for tonight. Any citizens' comments before we get started? Citizens' comments from the Zoom audience? No? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to approval of minutes. We had our regular meeting on June 12th and our special meeting on June 22nd. I hear a motion to approve. Motion from Jess, second.
I'll second it.
Okay, this is for the June 12th meeting minutes?
Make it for both.
For both, okay,
I'll make mine for both.
okay. All right, any discussion? No discussion, so hearing no discussion, I will put a motion to the floor for the approval of the June 12th and the June 22nd special meeting for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition, say nay. Any abstentions? No. The minutes, the motion passes. 9-0. We're all here tonight. Next item on our agenda is subcommittee updates. That would have been.
Policy did not have a meeting. We should have one soon though, I think.
Yeah. Okay, we have no subcommittees, so none. Okay, the enrollment report.
So the enrollment report, as you all know, that in the summertime, it ebbs and flows day to day. But currently at Marriott Fisher, we have 373 students enrolled. At Thompson Middle School, 275, and at Turtle Rock Memorial High School, 215, for a grand total right now of 864 students. I do know that we're having registrations and withdrawals. A bulk came in today, so that number is just going to fluctuate. It usually settles down by October 1st. And I believe that at this time, we currently have 23 students out of district. So that dropped a little bit. And we did get some information today that that number might even reduce more. We had a couple of transfer requests today. So I'm hoping that that brings that number down.
Okay.
Kathleen,
Okay.
one thing with the enrollment on homeschool.
Yep.
And again, this is just an overview, but I would have thought that number would have started to drop considering, COVID, post-COVID.
Correct.
Are you getting any, what's some of the feedback, or is there any kind of feedback? I guess?
So a parent today reached out to me. They homeschooled based on issues around security, right? And so they're thinking about coming back. So we just need to I need to reach out to that family and answer some of the questions that they have.
That's a valid
so-
concern. I mean, for anybody,
Sure.
I get it. Public places, big things, I get it.
But as far as, we noticed a trend that when students do drop out, they're home for a couple of months and then they re-register. That's happened with, I would say, over the last couple of years. But we've been teetering around between 60 and 80 homeschool students. And who knows, if more have moved into the district, they don't have to register with us. So we don't really know what that true number is. All we know is what we have withdrawn and re-registered.
Sorry,
Mhm.
are they elementary grade level, middle school? Like, do we know
Across
the
the
breakdown?
board, across the board.
It is.
It
Okay.
is.
All right,
Yep.
sorry.
And is this number, what was the number pre-pandemic?
It was around
the
six,
same?
in the
Really?
60s.
Okay.
It was. It was, but we did see an uptick after the pandemic. And at this point, even those numbers might not be accurate because some of those students might have aged out. I don't know, right?
Right.
We were just keeping numbers.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'd have to go
Do you
back.
know the number we ended the year with offhand?
Oh, I can look that up for you, though. We do have it. I'm sure I have it in my email.
For homeschool or for total enrollment?
Total enrollment was 297 in June.
Or-
I mean, 897 in June.
Thank you.
But that, you don't have all of the kindergarten or pre-K at this point, right?
They're in there.
They are in it.
Anyone that we know that has registered, those numbers are in there.
It's the middle school that seems really low.
The middle school came down, and we're not certain why, but also a few came in today, so,
94.
yeah, they were up over 300, or very close to it. The high school also dropped 6 students, so. But if you read in the Hartford Current, that's the trend across the nation, but more importantly, across Connecticut. All Connecticut towns are seeing a decline, except for one, seeing a decline in enrollment.
There's also a decline in accountability for the number, meaning nobody's really following these kids that should be in school and aren't in school.
Correct, and there's
I
no.
mean, that
mandate.
number is huge. It was in the millions across the country, like huge. That just came out this week in a report, so
Like truancy, you mean? What?
just not coming out, like after COVID, they just like, not going. And nobody's following up to see that, I mean, the law in the United States is they have to be in school up until a certain age. But when COVID came along, a lot of them just, nobody was really tracking them because of all the complexities of it all. And they say that number is absolutely huge. So several of these numbers are because they're just not tracked over the last, not just first 1 year, 2 year, over the last 3 years. So nobody's saying, okay, they should have been in school. They should have been in school after COVID. They should have been in school the year after COVID. They should have been in school. There's no tracking, and it's really become a big problem. The AP did the story this week.
But they may have also aged out of school at this point.
Some may have, some may not have.
When students do withdraw here, we usually ask them, and if they're withdrawing, Danette goes above and beyond to be sure that they have re-registered in another district. Now that we're on Power School, which many of the districts use, I think it's going to be easier to track some of that.
What does Power School do?
It's our student information system that keeps our database. Remember, we had Tyler, and then Tyler
Oh, right, that was the
went
replacement.
belly up,
Okay,
and now we have to
sorry.
go to a new one. Well, this is the year we're making the leap to Power School, and most districts do use that system. So maybe we'll be able to talk to each other a little bit better.
I just didn't remember the name, but I remember the whole Tyler thing.
Yeah, and what bothers me most about the state of Connecticut is there's no regulating or regulations on homeschooling. Or a lot of states require you to report in.
Well, I thought they had to
They do.
report to us, but there's no teeth in it, so there's nothing we can do if they
Right.
don't.
But-
But there is regulations that they're supposed to report what they're doing, but then they don't give us any power.
But a lot of states, you have to present a syllabus
Right.
to the state.
Yeah.
They don't have to do that.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do here in this town, but they don't, and we can't do anything about
No.
it.
They fill out we ask them to fill out this form so that we can keep our data. And then if a parent refuses to fill out the form, they usually send me a legal statement from I don't know where, but it's the same legal statement that they're not giving me that form. And so we just make notes and we add that person in as a homeschool student, but we don't even have the official form signed by the parent. They've been better about it lately. It's just that some folks don't feel that it's an obligation that they have to follow, so.
So if somebody is homeschooled all the way up through 11th grade, now you're age appropriate to be a senior, let's just say, can they enroll at Turtle Lot and then they graduate and they get a diploma from Turtle Lot?
Oh, yes, but not without a lot of research done on what they've actually mastered. So it's a big juggling act up at the high school to try to figure out, did they meet the graduation expectations? And remember, our graduation expectations have to have documented community service. It's not just grades, right?
Right, well, that's what I'm saying, because
right.
we have the portrait of a graduate, which are the pillars, and then you have your locker, electronic locker, and your portfolio.
Right.
So there's,
There's expectations.
But along those lines, if somebody just moves in from Tennessee and they're 11th grade and they have great grades all the way through, but they wouldn't have an opportunity to do any of this extra work, how do you handle that kind of stuff?
So the school works with the families and they try to make adjustments to that. And talking to the school the sending school, to see what kinds of activities they had there that might have complied with some of our graduation
All right.
expectations. But yeah, that does happen.
Yeah, sure.
And you're not going to deny a student graduation.
no, I was just, I don't know.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
It's tricky and especially when they go back and forth, because you got to understand that they've missed 2 or 3 months of our curriculum. They're going to be tested on our curriculum, and then that gap widens for that student. Some families do a really nice job with homeschool, and they come back to us and they're right on grade level. So it depends on the quality of the homeschool program that the child that's being implemented for the child at home. Some families do a phenomenal job, while others don't follow up with that, and that's when we get those big gaps in learning. It's going to be an ongoing problem until it's addressed at the state level.
Okay, what's next? Personnel hiring update.
So Michelle's not here tonight, but I am going to give you an overview of the open positions that we have. So we still have the speech and language district-wide, oh, there she is in the car. Speech and language district-wide position open. Spanish at the high school is open. There's a life skills special education class open at the high school. We did have our tech ed teacher who taught carpentry and construction actually go to another district in Rhode Island. So that position is open, although I am interviewing someone tomorrow. So I hope that is a good candidate. Social studies at the middle school, 2 integrated kindergarten teachers at Mary R. Fisher, a grade 2, a grade 3, and a part-time social worker. So right now we have 10 openings, and Michelle, you're there. Did I miss anyone? I took it from your form.
Hello, good evening, everyone. No, you did not miss anything.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Michelle's
welcome.
been doing a really nice job thinking out of the box, trying to recruit candidates. And we have recruited some, but I just hear it is a teachers and educators market at this point. And it's coming down to, almost bidding wars in some cases. But right now, we do have candidates for some of these positions, and I do believe the principals, right, Larry? Aren't you interviewing this week for elementary? Yeah. So, we have candidates coming in. We just have to get the interviews. And remember, we just had 3 recent resignations in elementary. And the part-time social workers grant funded, and we just found out last week we got that grant, so.
I was gonna say, Channel 3 had a thing on the news, I think it was last Friday or Thursday, all about the shortage of teachers. Again, they concentrated on, Hartford, New Haven, but to to your point, I mean, it's everywhere, small town, everywhere.
We're just competing with everybody around us. And it's whether or not Thompson's the right fit for someone. And the pay scale, right now, Thompson teachers are the lowest in the region. So when you're trying to attract new candidates, that is a problem.
Canterbury,
Oh, Canterbury, sorry, Canterbury.
we're in that tier.
We're in that
Yeah,
low
we're-
tier.
Yeah,
Yes.
other than Canterbury, we're the lowest.
But we're optimistic, and Michelle's doing a great job trying to, recruit candidates and keeping everything refreshed and current on any of the platforms. So she refreshes them like twice a week so that they end up at the top of the list again.
So I know how we compare within Connecticut, within our region of Connecticut and within Connecticut in general. We are a border town. How do we compare with the neighboring towns of Massachusetts and Rhode Island?
I think Massachusetts pays a little more, right, Michelle? And Rhode Island, probably comparable.
Okay. Comparable to us or comparable to our region?
Comparable to our region.
Yeah.
Which
That's a different-
doesn't say a lot
No.
for us,
No.
unfortunately. And we just don't, we've never had the budget to increase that pay scale.
But this is a great place to work. And so that's the one thing that is a high selling point when we meet with candidates, that this is a nice community to work in. It's a small community. And so it depends on what people are looking for their employment. Bigger districts mean more problems, right?
One of the major problems of it is people aren't going into education
Yes.
anymore. So you're not getting a lot of teachers out of the colleges.
Young and cheap ones.
We don't have a big pool to choose from.
It's true.
Can I, a slightly off-topic question? So I saw on your email that you sent to us about the grants that you had been approved. And obviously, some of them impacted directly some of the cuts that we made, that they seem like they possibly could be funded, like the behavioral person. Is that right or no?
So, yeah, so there was very specific criteria for that
Yes.
mental health grant. So it couldn't be just a student behavior coordinator. It had to be somebody that was BCBA certified. We have a candidate that's actually almost finished with that BCBA. So we did hire that person on contingency that that person would finish, and we're going to DSAP that person. We're happy about that. So that position's filled, so we will have that extra resource up at the high school. That'll impact chronic absenteeism and suspension rates, right? That's the point of that. And assist the principal with all the paperwork
And was that going to be a full-time position at the high school, or was it a
Correct.
happy with middle school or something?
no, it's a
Okay.
full-time position at the high school and a half-time social worker
Oh.
at Marriott Fisher, because we have one social worker who's spread really thin up there. And Larry doesn't have an assistant either, so it's a similar situation to the high school, but we're thinking that this, even a half-time person will provide families with more support. So I'm excited about that
Yeah.
grant.
Quick question on that. How long is that grant funded for?
3 years.
Okay.
It's funded fully the first 2 and then at 70% year 3.
Kathleen,
Yeah.
just one thing.
Yeah.
Regarding staff that has left the district, I know that there's exit interviews. Is there anything in these exit interviews that are things that we can assist with or change, or is it primarily come down to pay? I don't know how much of this can even be said, because some of it is
So-
personnel issues.
So Michelle's there. Michelle conducts those exit interviews with every employee that has left. She's really good about tracking and talking to even new hires during their first year of employment to see if there are any issues that need to be corrected. She will tell me if she sees a pattern in those exit interviews without disclosing any confidential information, because that exchange is supposed to be confidential, but she does let me know.
So without getting too into the weeds, I mean, is it pay? Is it job security because of the budget climate? I mean, we're like,
I think job security is one of them, but Michelle, you've spoken to people that have recently left. What would you think the common theme is?
Number one is pay. Number two is proximity to home, and number three is job security.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
unfortunately, it's kind of the climate that we're in, and
Yeah, and
It's
can't.
dog eat dog out there as
Well-
far as the superintendents, trying to secure candidates.
Yeah,
and you wonder, I mean, now you sit here as a Board of Ed, we know what our finances are, we know how tight it is, these other towns, it's like, how are they even in a bidding war? You know what I'm saying? It's like, where are they getting the funding without, I mean, I don't know, I'm just,
Well,
They,
their pay schedule already is higher, right? So,
Like a seventh year teacher in Putnam gets about $10,000 more than here. So if they need somebody over there, all they gotta do is call and say, I'll pay you $10,000 more. It's already in their budget, it's already in their
Yeah, no, you're
contracts,
right,
it's
you're
already
right.
there.
you're right, and at that point, it doesn't matter what the step is, that's the going rate for that,
mhm.
okay.
And Bill is right, that type of recruitment is happening. Where before there was some.
Yeah, forget about the relationship you may have had with a superintendent,
Mm.
that now it's just a dog eat dog, they've got positions to fill.
Correct.
so they're pouncing on people,
Yeah.
and that never really happened a lot. People did leave because of opportunity. We used to lose a lot of people to Ellis Tech because of that.
Oh, yeah, the state
And that's,
positions.
and remember, we did bump up our middle
Yeah.
steps, but we have so many on the final step at this point. And their final steps are $10,000 or more above ours.
It's those entry-level steps too,
Yeah,
when somebody's considering between districts. I'm assuming they go right to the website and look at the contracts, it's right
And
there.
they're typically younger teachers out of school with young families.
yeah.
$10,000 is a lot of money
It
for a
is,
student family.
it is, yeah, and they have
Those are being
student loans,
forgiven, so,
right? And we don't have the finances to bump up our
No,
steps. We don't have the budget.
Right.
And I won't get political now, but you all know what I'm thinking. Anyway,
Don't say it.
I won't. Okay. Okay, the next one is the NEASC update.
Dr. Mayo wasn't here this evening, but I will give you an update on the NEASC accreditation process, which has changed from the last time that we had an accreditation visit. So this time around, they are conducting a 2-day collaborative conference visit. That's on March 5th and March 6th of this year. The full NEASC accreditation visit is in 2026, and I'll read to you a little excerpt from the letter that they sent Dr. Mayo and I about the collaborative conference visit and why they're doing this. The collaborative conference visit is a new step in the accreditation process. The purpose of the collaborative conference visit is to gather information about the current conditions of the school, collaboratively review and refine the school's identified priority areas for growth, and check the school's alignment with the foundational elements. The collaborative conference team will work with the school to ensure that the identified priority areas for growth will have a significant impact on student learning, and there are no obvious omissions or other needed improvement areas. So what they do is they identify those areas that need growth, and then they give you 2 years to fix it. So it's a more real-time assessment of the school. So Dr. Mayo is actually on a visiting team himself in the fall to see what that process is all about. So we're looking forward to the visit. It's a positive thing because whatever comes from that is going to give us a roadmap as to what we need to do with facilities, what we need to do with instruction. So I welcome the visit, and then we're going to have to roll up our sleeves and really go out to the community and say, this is the findings when they came to do the sneak peek. This is what we've got to work on.
Yes, ma'am.
So I work in a laboratory, I manage a laboratory. It sounds, we are audited for our accreditation as well. It sounds much similar. We pay our accrediting
Right.
body for that audit. But over the years, it has become a more collaborative thing where they come in, they tell us, as opposed to just saying, no, you fail, no, you fail. It's become much more collaborative, and it's worked better for our laboratory and made my lab better. So I'm looking forward to that kind of a relationship for you with the auditors.
There is a NIAS team, a committee that has been established at the high school. They did some preliminary work. They had to answer some questions and get organized for this visit. They've been working all summer on that. So there is a committee in place. I'm happy. It's a mixed group of teachers, and some teachers that haven't really volunteered on committees before. So I think it's going to be a worthwhile exercise for them as well. And I think it'll go hand in hand with improving climate and culture.
Danielle?
Now, the last time they were out, we had a list of stuff that we were supposed to do. Did we get all that stuff done? So will we get dinged for that in this collaborative? Because one of the things that I knew was is the lockers. And when I was walking through the school, I never really looked at the lockers before, but I walked through with my daughter and I was like, wow, Bales, these lockers are really seen better days. And she's like, yeah, Ma, where have you been? And I'm like, I think we all need to see the lockers.
In certain sections, the lockers in the senior wing are fairly new, so those are in good shape, but there are some down the older end of the building that are really, we've zip tied those closed though, if they're not in good shape for kids to use. We have enough lockers up there that we don't need to use those, but yes, that's on the agenda. The science labs, the track, things that are still lingering.
Okay. Yeah, that's my question, if we're gonna get dinged for that.
How behind are our science labs?
So they are, they're functional right now, but there was issues around the size of the space, and that's major construction. So hopefully that might not be a focus area for them this time around.
But if they see it on the previous report, that's the first thing they'll probably
They do
know.
look at that
Yeah.
report. I think they're going to be more of an emphasis really on instruction than anything else.
Linda, you had said March 5th or March 5th and 6th of this year, but is that 2024?
2024.
All right, and then,
School year.
School year.
Yes.
I heard this year, my bad.
I was gonna say, we're past
Musician's
March.
year, I can't hear.
Well, to me, it's this year because I'm in this year.
We're in August, we got it.
And the full NIASC accreditation, they haven't given us any kind of timeline as to what month they'll be coming, but it's 2026.
But then the full evaluation is 2025,
2026.
so we have one full year to prepare, basically, from this assessment on.
Maybe two.
Math was
Pending
never a
when on
strong point.
2026. No,
The team is
almost 2
already
years,
working
almost 2 years.
Sure. The
They're
last
coming in
time-
March.
When was the last time? It was
10 years ago.
Really?
A little bit more than 10 because they bumped it up a couple of years because of COVID. So you might be around 12. I don't have the
Because I
exact
remember
date
we-
in my head.
Yeah, I mean,
I
remember we
was on the
had the
board
Saturday and
during
Sundays.
that,
and-
so.
So it could have
and I'm
been
in my 12th
12,
year, so.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a
Can't
big
believe
deal
it's
for
been
the
that long.
community.
Yeah.
It is. We're going to do well. It's just maybe the infrastructure issues might be a problem.
Kathleen, can I just ask Melinda one question? I forgot when it was her slot. It seems like the CNA collaborative is getting a lot of positive feedback from the community. How is that going? Like, is it well on track?
Oh, it's well on track. We had a parent meeting, Danielle was there, so
Yeah, I
she
was
could
there.
speak from a
Yeah.
parent's perspective. We have more students interested than we have seats. How we went about paying for that, because there is a fee to QVCC for that. My curriculum, we only reduced 10,000 out of the curriculum budget. It is a curriculum resource. We decided to put dollars aside for this because we have a good group of students interested. We're going to take priority for seniors and then look how many seats are open for juniors. But they will finish their clinical at the end of January, is that correct?
Yeah.
And they will be certified and can go out into the field and get a job. And Matchelitis hired 90% of the students from Putnam in the past. Putnam's program, I do not believe, is running. So originally, our thought was we could take some Putnam students into our culinary program, and we could put some of our students into their medical program. But that didn't work out. There was a change of superintendent. So we worked with Dave Kimball and Kyle Kramer and Rob Vians and John O'Keefe and his team, and QVCC had multiple meetings, and QVCC came through in the end with an instructor, and we just said, let's do it. We have these students interested, and if we can get them a good paying job before they even graduate high school, give those students that are going on into the medical field a leg up. I think it's going to be a wonderful thing. And there was a good vibe in that room. I felt for the first time in a long time, pre-pandemic, that kids were enthusiastic about coming back to school, getting into that program. So I am very positive about it. It's expensive. It's $2,000 a student. So it took the bulk of the curriculum resource money to pull this off. Students will probably have to buy their own scrubs. But they have to do well. They have to pass with a 70, and there's a big commitment to it. And Dr. Mayo stressed that, I think, to the families.
How many slots are there?
14.
14, okay.
14. And she and the person who had done the presentation had also mentioned that it's like a two-part course. So after January, they're in a college course, so they get a college credit. And the CNA credits will transfer over as credits. So if there's any students that want to go into, like my daughter was talking about doing the medical assistant program at QVCC, and she'd have 4 credits
Right on.
for that through the program. So
The dual enrollment grant that we received, that's what the president of QVCC and I are working on, because the second half of that is going to be more like medical career exploration. And so we have to develop a class around that. And there's some monies there for resources for kids, for curriculum resources. So I'm happy about that. And then also trying to figure out how can we offer college credit for the culinary class, and trying to figure that out, not with QV because they don't offer culinary, but some, I think Manchester offers a culinary program. Can we figure out how to offer college credit for those classes as well?
I would think that if you meet
Johnson
their,
and Wales?
They don't want it. I wrote the grant with Johnson and Wales because it's 40 minutes away, and it's not a Connecticut university. So they asked me to change that into a Connecticut university. And that's why the president at QVCC is helping me identify what Connecticut community college would be best for us to work with.
How much interest have we had in the culinary arts?
Oh my goodness, 180 students signed up.
Oh my.
that's the whole school, yeah.
So it's a dilemma, it's a good dilemma to have. We certainly want to offer our seniors an experience, but you also have to think about the freshmen because it's culinary 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Yes.
So we have to have a group of kids coming in. When you meet the instructor, you will see he's a seasoned instructor, and he just is thrilled to be able to put his kitchen together. On the backside of that, Dave and Sean are two maintenance guys, and without the vision of Bill Birch, he's not here tonight. I mean, I walked in that room last week and my mouth dropped open. Like, I don't know how that man figured out how to put in a commercial kitchen, but wait till you see it. It is phenomenal. And it's all grant funded for the most part.
Wow.
So we're really excited about having the kids come back to school.
I guess.
So,
Kathleen?
yeah, regarding that,
And then, yeah.
180 kids, basically the whole school. I hate to say that kind of the seniors don't count in this regard. I don't want to be exclusionary, but
Right.
they're not going to get the most out of it. The underclassmen, the freshmen, sophomores are going to get the most out of it in terms of getting the
Correct.
certification. And,
But they will get a certification this year in Safe Serve.
yeah, okay, there
Yeah,
you
they
go.
will, and they will learn life skills
Yep,
around
absolutely.
using knives and those kinds of things.
How much
So-
room is there? 100 people, 180 people
So I
expressed
think they've
interest.
capped the classes at 14. So because obviously,
Yeah.
right? We don't want, and I know Fran, that's the teacher's name, said, I got to talk to the nurse because they're all going to be burns and cuts.
Hopefully
I need her to
minor, yeah.
understand that's going to happen. But yeah, it's coming along nicely, and that gentleman's been working all summer writing curriculum because one doesn't exist, so we have to get one on the book. So yeah, very
So many
exciting.
classes a day that meet, 2-3 times a week, and
Yeah, it's they're going to block schedule, a 90-minute period. So there's only, I think there's 5 periods in a day, 5 periods in a day. So it should be good. Bill, do you have something to add?
I just wanted to clarify, he'll be teaching 5 sections at 14 per section?
Yes,
Yes, okay.
yes.
That's only 70.
He's teaching Culinary 1 to everyone.
Mhm.
It's just that we want to capture those students that are undergraduates so that they will be able to cycle through the curriculum that he's building.
and no, Heather's next.
So I know that this was talked about at some point in conjunction with the culinary program, that there might be a cafe that could then integrate the community to be able to purchase their creations and kind of engage maybe the seniors and some other things. I don't know if there's opportunities to do that.
Yes, so that is underway. Danielle actually helped me help us design the cafe space. And Dave Labs is going to be working with our students to actually paint. He's volunteering his time to teach our students to paint the mural on the walls. What's it called? Hilltop Cafe. And Danielle's busy working with the custodians to put the finishing touches on that, but we need the painting done. And Dave's been crazy busy this summer, but we're hoping to get it done by October 10th. So that's exciting. The culinary arts teacher does have a vision to sell, and that's another business thing because they need a point of sale to faculty and staff. Their first community event, he was talking about serving something to the veterans.
Oh, nice.
And then also engaging the elderly or the seniors that go to the library. And then also selling after the first of the year, because the students have to have skill, right?
Right, you gotta do something to buy, yeah.
But he also wants to give them opportunity to make things because we gotta hook them. And they wear uniforms in the kitchen, and it's just, it's more than what I thought it was. And it's more complicated when it comes to having the Department of Health in there. And it's just and Bill Birch has been on, if anybody deserves a pat on the back, it's he, Sean, and Dave for putting that space together. It's not ready yet. The ceilings need to go in and a few other things, but it's just jaw-dropping. It's just amazing what we can do if we get funding.
So 2 things. Can we get a field trip there
Yes.
before the next meeting?
Yes.
And then the second thing is, I love to cook. and I've gone to many cooking classes. Is there a way that maybe we can use this as kind of a fundraiser to fund the program? But we open it up to adult cooking classes?
That's a really good idea, Tom.
Like evening classes or
Yeah,
something?
you know, they have the paint nights and all that stuff, but I mean,
Students could teach us.
yeah.
That's actually a big thing now.
Well, I'm just
in the
saying we can
region.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a
fund
good
some of
idea.
it. you
Or
know.
even like I know my daughter was liking, they had like pastry, like decorating. And something that like even the youth, like Thompson Rec could get involved in. I know kids usually like to do cakes and cookies and all that kind of stuff.
Because the ones that
I
I've gone to
think-
before have been a 6-week program, and it's kind of a progression.
I think year one, it's probably getting the whole program off the ground. But we did just chat the other day about doing something for the veterans in November. And starting there, and then once the students have skill, you know, take home dinners that the staff can take home, doing lunches for the staff that they can pre-order, that kind of thing, so that students get the experience. So
I think that's what they do
we're
at
excited. We're excited about that program. A lot has gone into that.
Yeah.
So,
Big does that
and I'm
help
so
all this stuff.
thrilled that students are interested in this. It'll
That's
give them a
awesome.
certification.
So
They can go out and get a job,
Yeah.
even while they're going to college or finishing up high school. So
How does this rate to the Ellis program in culinary?
I don't know.
I'm just curious if you know, there's a lot more involved or no?
I plan on inviting everybody to open house, including the folks at Ellis, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Taste
Curious.
food tasting.
Yeah, 'cause you might drag some more
Food
people
off.
back.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing
Gotta be
about that,
healthy
Right.
food, remember?
Hey, remember, I didn't get this shape. I'm not eating food, buddy.
well, I'm gonna have to allow them to make treats. I mean, that's gonna be a waiver.
Oh, you kidding me? We're gonna do this healthy treat thing again? You can't. Oh,
It's state regs.
I know, I'm not
federal regs.
aiming it at you, I
I
know.
didn't.
Lisa could
I didn't
back
wanna
me
take
up
you
on
off,
that
Tom,
one. Lisa could back me up on that.
Get a waiver
So
for
good things are
cupcakes.
coming, and I think that that'll be to our plus when we're being visited by the NEAS team this spring.
It'll just be good for the town in general. I mean, just if, you know, keep kids in the Turtle Lot and just more community pride and, you know,
Right.
more engagement from student down to parent to grandparent. But hey, look what I'm doing. It's hard to do that with math class. No, you know, I'm a strong believer in education, but you say, look what I'm doing, and I have tangible results. I am going to be a nurse. I am making you food, and that's a tangible result, and that'll explode.
And I honestly hope that it's a recruitment effort for people to tuition in.
We need tradesmen badly, and only having one state school locally, us putting in programs like this is.
Yeah.
Many of our
Great
students want to stay at Turtle Lot but still get those skills.
Right.
So it's gonna be a good year.
Moving on to administrator reports, we have Larry Prentice with us tonight.
How are you?
You speaking for all 3 schools?
I'm gonna try to. Just want to give you a really brief shout out to the ESY teachers and the OG teachers that took half of their summer to teach the kids. Great job, great bunch of teachers. Congratulations to them. Again, congrats to Deb Kina on the recent retirement. We're gonna miss her a bunch. A lot of people are sad, but welcome to Amanda Bonner, who's hit the ground running and is doing an awesome job. She and Tia Valley have been super busy in the elementary school office, just with registrations, withdrawals, and et cetera, et cetera. Just a lot of stuff going on in the elementary school office. Shout out to Trish Chupai and Cindy Lett, who've already been working on connecting the Tiger Pals in the high school with the elementary students and the middle school students, I think, this year. So that's going to be something a little different. I believe they have to do it for credit now. It's not just for community service. I'm not positive on that, but Trish Chubai and Cindy Lett, great job with those two. And that's just, of course, you know, but, you know, thanks to Bill Birch, the building looks phenomenal.
It does.
Heather Burns with the new student information system. That's gonna be there's gonna be a learning curve there, but, so shout out to those individuals, and of course Lisa for, you know, serving lunches all summer long. And popsicles on the playground is next Saturday, too. Great opportunity for kindergarten, parents of kindergarten students to meet their teachers, so. That's it. That's all from the elementary.
Hopefully we'll have some.
Actually, I would be remiss if I didn't say, you know, Tracy Samarco is one of those teachers that had left the district. If you never got the opportunity to meet Tracy Samarco, I believe she was here for 22 years. Class act, hard worker, dedicated professional, connection with kids, the whole nine yards. It's just really, really sad to see her go. I mean, she was so good at her job. So, that's it. Sorry to end on a somber note.
Can I put in a good side or note?
Sure.
So my daughter worked in the elementary school over the summer. She did her internship in Mrs. Jones's class, and she just had a blast in the elementary school. And she took a lot out of her experience there that she'll take on when she goes to the New England Center for Children, and she'll be working there as a level 2 autistic teacher, and she's going through their program to get her BCBA there. So through Western, but she just had a blast. She loved it.
Pleasure to see her every day.
She loved all the time with her kids. It was a really, really good experience for her. So I just wanted to pass that along.
Yeah, I'm sure she'd be happy to. I'm sure Ellen Jones already knows that, but that you talk about having a deep appreciation for what educators do on a daily basis. If you walk in that classroom, you would truly appreciate what they do every single day.
Yeah. The takeaway, she was like, Mom, it was just the most impactful 6 months of my life. She really said that. So I wanted to pass that along.
That's good to hear. Good to hear. It is a good school, and we have some great educators there, all over the district.
Mhm.
They work
I hear
exceptionally hard.
Mrs. Jones is a good teacher.
Yeah. What they say.
With many, many challenging students who need her support and love, and they get it.
Brother.
We have Dr. Mayo, who is online on Zoom with us.
Yes?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. His daughter had her wisdom teeth out today, that's why.
Oh, no.
Ouch.
Hello? Oh,
Yes.
yes. Just a couple of things actually about what was talked about. The difference between our program and Ellis's is ours, and Ellis uses gas, we use electric. So we're not allowed, because they're a state school, they have the ability to run gas in their school. We're not, so we don't have that ability. It's 4 periods a day, 3 periods taught, 1 period off. So there's a total of 6 opportunities, 6 classes for culinary. So that's what they'll have. So it's 6 times 14. So you're looking at about 84 spots in culinary this year. And additionally to the 2 that the superintendent mentioned, we also have scuba coming in, which will collaborate with welding, because we have an agreement with EB where any of our students who become both welding certified and scuba certified can go directly into their program and make a lot of money per hour. So we have about 4 students right now that are enrolled in both, looking to graduate next year with that possibility. Yeah, that's all I have for that.
Okay,
Thank you, Dr. Mayo.
thank you. Okay, Mr. Steglitz.
Very brief from finance this month. Apologies for no report. However, there's a lot going on, wrapping up last year and kicking off this year. Finance team has been incredibly busy. I will say it's too close to call right now, but I think we're in a little better shape than we were at this point last year. We've done a lot of the closing of encumbrances. We have a little bit more work to do there. And I have a lot of grant work to do. August is grant month because the big EFS filing is due at the beginning of September. And that also obviously has an impact on where we land for the year. So I'll have I'll have a full report for you next month, but suffice it to say, all of us, myself, Eileen, and Patrick, are extremely busy this month.
Kathleen, just one question for Bill.
Sure.
Have we been getting all the state reimbursements? Have they been?
Yep, everything that we were scheduled for has come in. It was great to hear on the most recent grants that came down the pipe. That's just wonderful timing after the challenges of this past budget season, to be able to lean on some of that grant money.
But special ed reimbursements, they've been pretty
Right
good.
right on track. Those have come in as scheduled.
And where do we sit with the meals for students?
We'll
So
get to
that's
that.
why Lisa is here this evening. I
Right,
think
but
she's
that's
on
under
the
new
agenda.
business.
But
Yeah.
funding?
Yeah, that's under
All
new
right,
business.
all right.
We'll get to
Sorry.
that.
I'll ask my question.
It's on the agenda,
Thank
and
you.
Lisa will fill us in. It's item E, under new business. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the student handbooks, or old business. Anybody have any old business? No? Okay, then the next item is the student handbook approvals.
I just want to say thank you to the principals for going through their handbooks. They used the CAVE model handbook that CAVE had distributed. I will say, Principal Prentice, you did a phenomenal job. You rewrote the whole handbook, reformatted the whole thing, so it flows nicely.
Okay, we'll start with the high school on the first thing was on page 25, that changed to the cell phone. And other personal devices. Anybody have any objections to that change?
Just a question.
Yes.
For step 3, and I wanted to reread this again, it says students are never, cell phones are never allowed to be retrieved for the bathroom, nurse, or breaks within the educational setting. If I were a high school student who is not yet of driving age, and I'm going to the nurse to then be dismissed, are they now going to have to go back to whatever classroom they were excused from to go to the nurse to now recollect a cell phone and take more time before they would be leaving?
Dr. Mayo, can you answer that question?
Danielle, yeah, that's the plan. And the reason why is because we don't want them taking it with them and then just loitering in the hallways. We had major issues with the
Okay.
phones at the last year, yeah. So either they retrieve it, or myself or the new student behavior coordinator can come get it. I would never let another student take a student's phone anywhere. So either they would come back or we would get it for them.
Okay.
Okay.
Good question.
Any other questions on this? Comments on this? Okay. The next change is on page 40. It concerns the lockers and assigning locks. They have to leave their backpack, so in other words, they have to bring everything with them for the entire day.
Well, they can go back and forth to their locker
Okay?
in between
That's
classes.
not how I understand. Well, at lunchtime, I guess they could do that. It says that they don't really have enough time during classes.
Kathleen?
You
So-
again, huh?
You just made the comment that we're also assigning locks, is that correct?
Dr. Mayo, I know you had a committee working on lockers.
Yes, the locks have all been assigned. The first day of school, the students will receive a slip with their locker number and combination.
Okay, are we, and this may seem penny pinching, but are we, because high school students are high school students, are we charging like a deposit fee for the locks for when they go missing or get damaged, or no?
No, we have, Dan, to be honest with you, Dan, we have like, not only do we have enough locks for locker combinations, because over the years, and again, this is before I came, but the school was much more populated, that we have, not only do we have a lock on every other locker, and that's more than enough for the kids, we also have 4 3-drawer file cabinets full of locks.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah.
But it does It say, says
$10 that it
yes, if they do
Okay.
lose the lock or damage it, they're gonna get charged $10.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we're being,
And it does say there's a limited amount of time between class changes. They're encouraged to stop at the lockers before their first period and before or after lunch and at the end of the school day, because they're not allowed to bring backpacks to their classes.
And that was a leftover from COVID. We took everyone out of the lockers from COVID and had them use backpacks. And we never got back to locker assignments. So that's
Okay.
what the school's trying to
All
do.
right, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
It's good for their backs too.
But if your locker is next to your next class, your biology class, you are allowed to stop there.
Yeah,
It's not an
it's
excuse to be late.
encouraged.
Oh, I had to go to my
Encouraged.
locker.
It's
Yeah.
encouraged,
Okay.
yeah.
Good. That's the way I read that too.
Okay, and then right underneath that is the lunchroom. That you can't wander around out of the lunchroom, but you can take your cell phone and you can use your cell phone during lunch period. I have no problem with that. You're not supposed to wander the halls, you gotta stay in the lunchroom, you can use, there's a restroom there, so I guess you use that one. And
Page 45.
yeah, the last, I got a little, look at my little flags. It's left over from my work experience. Reading contracts. And the next one is on page 45 for school year. I like the SY instead of fiscal year. School year 23-24, breakfast will be free for all students, and we'll get to Lisa to explain this, because the state of Connecticut suddenly got cheap and now they're not providing lunch for everybody. They will charge $3.25 if you don't meet the criteria for free and reduced lunch.
So elementary is in their 4th year of CEP, so they're free regardless all year for their breakfast and their lunch. Students in middle school and high school are required to do applications if they're not directly certified. If they're directly certified or if they're approved for reduced price meals, they will get free lunch as well across the board. So it's only the middle and high school students that do not get approved for free or reduced price meals that will have to pay for their lunch.
And we'll get to the mechanics of that and in the next new business. Okay,
Kathleen?
if you don't mind sticking around for a little
No,
while.
that's okay.
Okay,
Kathleen,
yes.
on 44, just on the page next door, there's nothing highlighted, but is that intentionally humongous font or is that a typo?
What?
No student should be in the gym without, is that supposed to be formatted in that manner, or is that just?
He's yelling,
no
he's yelling.
It's just like the whole document is
Yeah, I
all
know.
in one font, and that is
that's
not.
different, yeah.
That may be Deb Spinelli's input to
Okay.
that.
I think it is. Dr. Mayo, did you have a comment about the enlarged font about access to the gym?
I think that was my assistant, Coach Spinelli.
I'm not
So I
arguing.
believe that was that. So
Has that been an
I'll look
issue?
at that.
It has been, the gym has been used as a congregation while she's trying to teach gym class, so that's been problematic.
Okay. So those are the changes that have been, that's 4 changes. I'll ask for a motion to,
I will make that motion to accept those changes as provided.
and Val seconds that. So are there any discussions on those changes? Hearing no discussion, I'll put the motion to the floor to accept the changes proposed to the high school, Turtle Rock Memorial High School student handbook. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition say no or nay. Any abstentions? No. Motion passes 9-0. We will now review the middle school student handbook. The first proposed change, well, it's not really a change, it's they put in a page that lists the faculty and staff directory as it stands as of today. The second change is on page 33, which again refers to the lunch. And the next change is they added, there really is no change other than the lunch paragraph. And the second one, they inserted the school calendar. So really what we're voting on here is to add the paragraph on the new regulation on the lunch.
Yeah, and the cover needs to be, we have an omission of one of the administrative assistants
Oh,
on the cover. I just noticed that.
okay, so we have
Take that
to
off.
cross off something on the cover, okay. Okay. And so that's omit that name. When you do put like names like that, you have to always realize that they change.
Right.
So we don't vote on that. No, they change as necessary. Correct. So I'll entertain a motion to accept the changes to the middle school student handbook.
I'll make the motion.
Jess?
I'll second it.
I'll give Linda that one. Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, I'll put the motion to accept the Thompson Middle School Student Handbook for 23-24 to the floor for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, any opposition, say nay. Hearing none, the motion passes 9-0. I did not print out the elementary school, so I don't have it.
I have it.
Okay.
So there's numerous additions because Principal Prentice actually took the CABE model handbook and modified his and added things that handbook had. So it's a little bit more comprehensive and there's multiple changes because the Mary R. Fisher handbook didn't have those things in it.
Or language that was very similar to, or just additional language from the CABE.
Okay.
Nothing.
Sorry, okay, on page nothing. All right, there's a paragraph added on anti-racism. The district rejects all forms of racism as destructive to the mission, vision, values, and goals of this school system. All forms of racism must be eliminated from the district. Children must find school a safe and welcoming place where they are able to achieve success irrespective of their racial or ethnic background. Racism will not be tolerated in any form. The goal is to enable all students to thrive in a socially cohesive community within a positive, multicultural society. I love that. I love that. The next paragraph, asbestos. Oh, this is in alphabetical order.
Yeah, it's not my doing, it's CABE.
No, I love it. Asbestos. legislation requires all school buildings to be reevaluated to determine if asbestos is present and if it poses a significant health hazard to the building's occupants. The district has on file plans showing the location of asbestos in each building and measures undertaken to comply with regulations to maintain a safe school environment. Requests to review these plans may be made in the school office. The next yellow I see is, I would suggest you number the pages or have some.
We asked the secretary to do that before we printed out my copy. I mean, after we printed out my copy.
Okay. Equity and diversity. Students deserve a respectful learning environment in which their cultural, racial, and ethnic diversity is valued and contributes to successful academic outcomes. The school learning and work environment is enriched and improved by the contributions, perspectives, and the very presence of diverse participants. Next change is facilities. Certain areas of the school will be accessible to students before and after school for specific purposes. Students are expected to remain in the area in which their activity is scheduled to take place. After dismissed and unless involved in a teacher/staff supervised activities, students are expected to leave the campus immediately. Fire drills and emergency preparedness. Fire drills are held at regular intervals as required by state law. Students must follow the exit directed posted in each classroom. A crisis response drill will be substituted for one of the required monthly fire drills. The crisis response drill may also be planned and conducted with local law enforcement agency. Such crisis response drills will incorporate the basic protocols of lockdown, evacuation, and shelter-in-place responses. Students are expected to follow the direction of teachers and others in charge quickly, quietly, and in an orderly manner. The signal for a fire drill is a constant message over the school's PA system. When the alarm sounds, students are to proceed with an adult along the posted exit routes in a quick, quiet, and calm manner. Students should not return to the building until the return signal is given. Fundraising. Outside organizations, including the PTO, occasionally may be permitted to conduct fundraising drives for approved school purposes. An application for permission must be made to the superintendent. Any food items sold as part of any fundraising activity must meet the nutritional standards published by the Connecticut Department of Education. Beverages of food not allowed for sale during regular school hours may be sold provided, 1, the sale is in connection with an event occurring after the end of the regular school day or on the weekend. 2, the sale is at the location of such event. And 3, the food or beverage are not sold from a vending machine or school store.
Just a comment, PTO is very well aware of this.
I'm
We
sure
went over
they
it again
are.
on our Thursday meeting. But they know.
There's no buttered bread rolls or anything like
No,
that?
No, we could
braids.
do
Get
them,
away
we
with
just can't provide them to the students to take them home on the bus. Parents have to come and get them on delivery day.
And you can't hang pictures of the butter braids all over the
Oh,
school.
butter braids, that's it.
Butter braids,
Like the butter
pies,
rolls.
cookie dough, cake rolls.
Anything with sugar.
I think I ate a few before we even got them home.
My kids are very
I don't know
fond
what
of
I
eating
missed.
cookie dough balls before they get into the freezer.
Okay, I'm not gonna read this whole thing.
Oh,
But
my God, what is-
Green cleaning program.
I have a question on this one.
We do.
You have a question on the green cleaning program?
Yeah.
Okay. It is the policy of the Thompson Board of Education to implement a green cleaning program in which the board procures and properly uses environmentally preferable cleaning products in school buildings and facilities, and it goes on.
Right. So my question is Clorox wipes. Those are on every class supply list. So my concern is I don't have an issue with supplying Clorox wipes. I know for PTO, for Teacher Appreciation Week, we bought a crap ton of cases off of the back of a truck in Providence. Teachers need it. This policy was not in play in the previous handbook.
So this isn't anything
This
new.
has been in play for a while.
Okay, so is that going to be an issue with supply list requests?
Well, I'll defer to your comment, which was, I don't necessarily have an issue with it.
Right.
I mean, they're,
I think because of COVID, it's not that we turned a blind eye,
All right.
but we relaxed that because teachers were more comfortable using the Clorox wipes, especially at the end of the day. We even put bleach in some of our cleaning at that time. So we're gonna try to get back to this fully green, but
Okay.
in some instances, I'm not gonna
Okay,
be
I just,
upset with a teacher who wipes
wanna-
down her tables at the end of the day with a Clorox wipe.
okay, all right, I just want
But
to
we
make sure that
won't
it's,
buy them for our custodians to use.
okay,
Are
but
those
like,
boxes spelled right? Like Clorox is not.
Clorox.
The custodians
You got a
do not
certificate of
use
origin?
anything other than the approved cleansers.
okay. So that, all right, I just want to make sure that when I'm sending in, I don't have to buy the $25 tub of 7th generation that doesn't do anything.
But you really
Right.
shouldn't buy the Clorox because it's really not supposed to be in
I
there.
know.
They don't
Correct.
have bleach in them.
Well, it's the wipes
It doesn't
themselves
matter,
are not.
they're not
Right.
they're meant for household use. This isn't a household. That's the big problem with the material safety data stuff. And if a
Right.
kid drinks it or puts it in
Ingested.
his mouth, that becomes a problem. It's not that it's bad or any of us don't believe in it. We actually had a clean air committee years ago, and we would confiscate all that stuff and take it out of the classroom.
I think it got a little lax because of
Okay.
COVID.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, hate speech. The district denounces the use of words or images to harass individuals or groups based on gender, gender expression, race, religion, sexual orientation, or any other aspect of identity. Hate speech is not tolerated in Thompson schools. All speech that denigrates, disrespects, or misrepresents types of people, in quotes, must be challenged. Hazing activities. Students are prohibited from participating in any hazing activities. Hazing is any activity that recklessly or intentionally endangers the mental or physical health or safety of a student for the purposes of initiation or admission into or affiliation with any student organization. Hazing, bullying, or abuse of students or staff will not be tolerated. Any student who engages in an act that injuries, well, that, I don't know if that doesn't read right, but okay, degrades or degraces another student, you better look at that paragraph. I don't think that's reading very well, but other than that, another student or staff member disrupts the educational process or interfere with a student's opportunity to obtain an education shall be subject to appropriate disciplinary action. Limited English proficient LEP students, English learners. Parents of limited English proficient students / English learners participating in a language instructional program will be notified of their child's placement in the program. The notification will include an explanation of why, a description of the program, and the parent's rights to remove their child from the English Learners Program. In addition, the notification will explain how the program will help the child to develop academically, learn English, and achieve the standards necessary for promotion. Oh, pesticide application.
So, yeah, so we have that, it's even posted on the website.
Okay, so that's a policy that we follow in conjunction with statutes of Connecticut. I'm not reading my whole thing. Psychotropic drug use. School personnel is prohibited from using any psychotropic drug. I'm not getting into that. We have that, that's one of our policies anyway.
Mhm.
No drug use. No mushrooms.
Especially in kindergarten.
No hazing while on mushrooms.
No Jimi Hendrix.
Is hazing a big thing in elementary school? Yeah.
Pre-K to K.
Purple
I
haze.
know, I agree with it, it just kind of cracks me up.
Okay, the school
You're not coming
ceremonies
into
and
kindergarten
observances,
unless-
the school district recognizes the value of certain ceremonies and observances in promoting patriotism and good citizenship among students. And students shall be given the option to be excused from participating in those parts of a program or curriculum involving a religious theme. And obviously, yeah, if it go, the opportunity will be provided at the beginning of each school day for students to observe an appropriate period of silent meditation and to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. The participation in these activities is voluntary. School safety, security and safety. Mary R. Fisher has established a school security and safety team which will assist in the development and administration of school security and safety plan. Each district school will conduct a security and vulnerability assessment every 2 years and develop a school security and safety plan based on the standards by DESPP. I think that's it. But anyway, and you can all, substitute teachers, students are required to maintain high standards of behavior when being taught by a substitute teacher. And they must respect and misbehavior won't be tolerated. And that's it, and you can review them again on the.
Now, while I don't disagree with any of that at all, shouldn't that be followed through in each one of the
Yeah,
handbooks?
I was gonna mention that.
Because,
Yeah.
you know, whether it's hazing or English language or refraining from
Mhm.
celebrating holidays, it would only make sense to me
Yep.
that it kind of goes all the way through.
We should probably pull out these new sections of the CADE manual and add them to the middle and high school. That way
Well,
they're
I love the
consistent.
format of that it's an alphabet.
That Larry was the pioneer.
He can do the other two, he's good enough. He's still got 2 weeks before school starts.
He's been working on this also. So anyway, it was, I mean, the other handbook was kind of, it was difficult to read. So he asked me, probably early spring, could he redo the whole thing? So that's why he took the time to do that. The others, we should put, I agree, we should put those sections in.
Mhm.
So Danielle, tomorrow, if we can isolate those sections and send them to the secretaries so they can insert them where they.
Great idea. Okay, I like that idea. So we will entertain a motion to approve Larry's with his changes.
Make the motion. I'll second it.
Okay, sorry, it was a little but it's hard to read things online and I just, okay, and, okay, and obvious discussion? Okay. Put the motion to the floor to approve the elementary, Mary R. Fisher Elementary Handbook with those as updated. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition, say no, nay. Hearing none. Motion passes 9-0. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, with that one, okay, now we have to discuss the non-union salary increases, which we have tabled from June's meeting. Okay.
Do you have a number in mind?
Well,
Because there's nothing really here.
2.25.
That's what was in the budget, so do you want,
What
would
was,
somebody put a motion on the floor so we can discuss?
Put a motion on the floor to discuss
Union salary
non-union salary increases.
I'll second that.
Okay, well, okay, the budget number is 2.25.
But-
2.5,
no,
I'm sorry, that's what's in the budget.
2.5, yeah.
2.5, and Tom suggested 2.25?
I'm just saying, let's start with 2.25 as a start
Okay.
for discussion purposes, and I'll vote that we approve 2.25 as a committee.
I'll second that number.
Hmm?
I'll second his number. He made it into a motion
Okay,
for 2.25. I'll
so
second
you
that.
amended the motion,
Well,
just made a motion to
I
put,
made a motion to discuss.
yeah,
and I made a motion with a number.
okay. So we have a new motion on the floor with a number, 2.25. Let's discuss that, and Bill seconded that. Okay? I mean, discussion is that we have a very, very tight budget this year.
Correct.
I mean,
I think-
looking at all the other numbers, I think that's a fair number. It's kind of right in line with everybody else's increases.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, you gotta put your toe in somewhere, and I think this is a, listen, we'd all wanna make sure that it's more, but I think this is a very palatable with the considerations we've gone through this year.
This is what the town employees are getting. 2.25 is what the town employees are getting. So it is fair.
How many people does this encompass roughly, approximately?
About 9?
A little bit more than that, probably about 12.
Okay, thank you.
Non-union?
Well, yeah. Danielle, are you
Trying to
counting
do
in your
my
head? Thinking of all the
Ballpark,
tech
10,
team?
12, that's fine.
Yeah, fine, that's fine,
Someone
but,
to-
and this is what the town employees are getting, 2.25, so.
And these
Okay.
are that group of people that aren't under any contract, they're at will.
Mhm.
Heather.
I mean, we'd all
Bill
love to give
Birch.
everybody more, I mean, but we just, we're,
Everybody involved should
It's a
know.
sad situation. I mean, our
yeah,
town
and they're all,
has,
I mean, everybody's doing a
Yeah.
fantastic job, and,
I mean, our town has unfortunately exceeded revenue. You know, our expenses are beyond revenue constraints, and it's a shame.
okay. So,
Might be closer to 9, you might. be
any
right.
more discussion on this matter, or? No? Okay, then I will put the motion to the floor for a vote. And we want to do a head count vote, or we want to just do a?
Just do a regular.
Well,
Regular.
Huh?
Regular.
Regular vote, okay. All right, all in favor of giving the non-union salaried personnel a 2.25 increase for the school year? This is retroactive to July 1st. And I'll send you a memo on this also with Melinda's increase, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion passes 9-0. Okay.
Regrets.
Superintendent's contract extension.
I will make a motion to discuss the superintendent contract.
No, you don't do that, no. The motion is to extend her contract for a year.
No.
She has a,
I'll second it.
okay.
Either way, we can come out the same.
Yeah, well, then we have another motion, so.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, motion is to extend the superintendent's
contract.
contract for another year on top. It's a rolling 3-year contract. So we add to another year to her contract Any discussion on that?
No, but I would like to thank Melinda for all the hard work she's done. It's been difficult last couple of years, and I know that many within the community and even those outside the community have high regard for you. So thank you for all the efforts that you put in to keep the lives of our students on track and to keep them in a safe and learning environment. We all want the best for the students, and I know you're one of the number one cheerleaders for that. So thank you, Melinda.
True.
Here, here.
Yes.
Very,
Thank
very
you.
true. Okay, so all in favor of extending the superintendent's contract for an additional year, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Any abstentions? Motion passes 9-0.
Did she accept it?
Okay,
God, I hope so.
all righty. The revised dress code policy is Exhibit F in your package.
And this was a long time ago,
I
wasn't it?
don't know if you want Dr. Mayo to speak to it at all.
Is this still with us? Yes. Okay. Has everybody read this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we have protective hairstyles. And sure, different clothes, anybody, okay, I'll put forward a motion, somebody put forward a motion to accept this so we can have discussion, please.
I'll
will make
make the
that.
motion to put it forward for discussion.
I will second it.
Now, you put forward the motion to accept it, and then we discuss it,
Okay.
then we vote on it, yea, nay.
Okay, so then I'll amend my motion to put forth to accept it.
Okay,
And I will second it.
okay. Now we have discussion. We want to discuss this. I mean, the first one is a no-brainer because that's a federal law.
So as a mother of a daughter who loves crop tops, these are not allowed anymore, right?
No, and the biggest issue is that there's inconsistency of enforcement of the policy between the middle school and the high school. And so then we have middle school kids going up to the high school to take coursework, right? And there's not consistent application of the policy. And that's one of the things that this revision was actually we started to look at the policy. So we wanted to come to consensus that both schools, I mean, including the elementary, but these are mostly secondary issues. And I don't know, Dr. Mayo, if you have anything else you want to add to the revised policy?
No, I think the teaching group is the one that reviewed it as well, and that's fine. And I think the addition of the student behavior coordinator, to be honest with you, the middle school has 2 female administrators. I am the only administrator in the high school, and I am the male. So if I could have a female help up there, that would be great. This is always a very gray area for me and something, to be completely honest with you, I'm not super comfortable with. So if I could have female help up there, that would be wonderful.
Well, you have a support coordinator, you have a female student support coordinator, a female guidance counselor, female social worker, and a female BCBA. So I think you covered, Dr. Mayo.
You're outnumbered, in fact.
You can see why we crossed off A, because our heat is iffy.
I know, that's what I thought too when I read it. I was like, "Oh."
So
Okay.
0 abdomen showing, correct? So that-
Correct.
okay. Just making sure. Okay.
Okay. All right, are we all comfortable with this change to the? Anybody have any problems with any of the items on here?
Why are you looking at me?
You got a
Why are you
comment,
looking at
Jess?
me? No, I'm good right now.
I do have a question for Melinda, though. Do we put this out to the subs so that they are well aware of what our handbook says? Like, substitute teachers and that? Is it on, you know, on a
It should
online thing
probably
that
go
we
in a set
advertise?
folder.
They
Yeah,
are,
it's a good idea.
because, you know, it's all about sometimes interpretation, and if they don't know what is acceptable, and if they go to multiple schools, maybe that one school has something different than what we have. I just think it would be a good thing. So I love the fact that, yes, not everybody's always on the same page, so having the middle school and high school be cognizant of the fact that, you know, we have one rule for everybody.
And we had some extra, Mary Poppins t-shirts that we distributed to the school, so somebody could just throw on a Mary Poppins t-shirt and go.
That's a good idea.
They won't have to be suspended, they can just throw that over there, little crop top. But they shouldn't wear them to school, and it's gotten a little bit out of hand, especially in the spring.
My son, well, and Matt's daughter goes to Ellis Tech, and the uniforms are great, because like, you never have to worry about anything like that. Has it ever been thought of maybe switching to?
Oh, we'd
uniform
get
stuff?
so much pushback on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great idea. A lot of
Yeah.
public schools have
Right.
gone to that,
Yeah, I
especially
know
inner
Norwich,
city
they just do
schools.
black polos and
Yeah,
khaki
Yeah.
pants.
yeah.
Well, with Ellis being you're volunteering to go there,
Yeah.
you're signing that
Right,
saying,
right,
I'm volunteering to
that's
go there, I'm volunteering
Yeah.
to wear the uniform. Here you are
Yeah.
not necessarily.
But a lot of public schools in
Yeah.
the cities and stuff have gone to that because of the problems they
Yeah.
encounter, but we'll never get that.
It's another
figured
battle
out.
that not.
That would be a big battle.
Anyway,
Money
okay.
saved, though.
Yeah.
I'll call an end to the discussion and put it forward to a vote. All in favor of adopting the revised dress code policy, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? No? Any abstentions? No. Passes 9-0. Okay, Lisa, you are on.
Yeah.
Explain the new lunch.
Okay, so we've got 16 million federal funds are being allocated throughout the state of Connecticut for free meals for students. And what it's doing is making sure, again, elementary's all set their CEPs, they're getting free breakfast and lunch. It's middle and high school, so they're all getting free breakfast. They could be directly certified, which most of our kids are directly certified through the state because their family receives SNAP benefits or Husky kind of thing. So if any of them come through directly certified, or if there's a meal application and they're approved for free or reduced price meals, the reduced price meals will also be free this year. So if they're approved for reduced price meals, they'll get a free lunch as well. So it's just middle and high school students that are not approved free or reduced via direct certification or meal application that will have to pay. We came up with $3.25. There's a formula on the CSD's website that helps us realize what we need to be charging at least, and it's $3.10. We figured we'd just go to the $3.25, it would just be a little more cut and dry. But that's where we stand.
And everybody has to fill out the form.
Only if they're not directly certified. I get a link directly from the state. If everybody's legit getting SNAP benefits or some kind of benefit, it goes through the state and comes directly to me. Those people do not have to fill out an application.
Okay.
And it's a big list.
What percentage, I don't need an exact number, what percentage of students are or are not going to be required to pay? I mean, I know it is a significant percentage that receive free or reduced lunch, so I'm curious approximately what that number is.
I don't know. I know in June our percentage of free and reduced kids that were directly certified were maybe between 30 and 40%.
Okay.
Directly certified.
Right, that's,
Higher. Yeah, I won't know until I get.
I'm just looking
good
for
enrollment.
ballpark. Thank you.
And I'm getting my new list this week, so I'll know by the end of the week I should.
We're encouraging all families to fill out at least one of those forms if they have multiple students. That way, we'll be able to make sure that we have that data in our new student information system, which is important for a variety of other things, grant funding, state aid, all of that, but more importantly, that we track those students and that they get the free meals that they're entitled to. It's going to be a bit of a bear because we're going to go back to those that are not eligible. We're going to have to chase them down for lunch if they don't pay for it on time. And the board hasn't seen at the end of the year for the past several years, right, because of all the grant money around, that there was any lunch balance. We haven't had to absorb those lunch balances. So we're going to stay on top of it. We don't shame kids, so we don't offer them an alternate lunch like a cheese sandwich or any of that if they don't pay for their lunch. It's us communicating. It really falls on Leisha's shoulders to communicate with the families and tell them that they're in the arrears for their lunch. They can't buy a la carte items. They will get a meal, be charged the $3.25, but they can't buy any of the extra stuff.
So if we do the math, 325 times 5, obviously, and then is 36 weeks. It's about $585 per student. So going back to what Matt was saying is, if we have a number of how many students that really affects, I think I'd like to see it as, what does it relate to an overall number? Is it something that we do have in the budget that we can fund through our own dollars? I mean, I would hate to see a student go
Right, but
without
if
a
they
meal.
qualify for reduced lunch, they'll get it for free. So they're not
But
paying.
even if they don't,
Well, if they don't qualify, then that usually means that their household can afford it.
we all know
Right.
how
I
right
mean,
now.
there's families in town that can afford that, or they can bring their lunch from home. Nothing prohibits from packing a bag lunch.
Totally understand.
Yeah, I mean, you did that when you were a kid, right?
Listen, I just saw a whole thing on TV about when we went to school, we brought a brown paper bag. Now you have to have things refrigerated. It's gotta, I mean, it's like, I'm still
Well,
alive.
if they have those insulated bags.
My bologna was warm, I'm sorry. but
Good old peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
How about your
right?
Baklava was a little drippy, but it still was good. But no, I mean,
I understand.
if we could fund it, I would love to just see it. I live in a depressed area. Even those parents or families that can afford it, it's tight.
Tom, I know pre-pandemic, we were funding lunch for the elementary and the middle school. The problem is that there are expenses in the lunch department that aren't completely covered, right? Like healthcare. And we also took a dip into that during this budget process and actually eliminated staff. So I don't think that department could ever cover the students that have the ability or families that have the ability to pay. The state is still looking at that, and I'm assuming, they're going to still continue to discuss and debate whether or not it's going to be free meals for all students. Other states have adopted that. I think Connecticut is inching toward that with making this particular grant offering for us. So
I thought I just read in the Cape Journal that they were extending this for the next
Another
year.
that's what they extended, was the
a
free
lot of
for
fun.
Just the
reduced.
breakfast?
Free breakfast for everybody was one, and then the reduced students used to pay 30 or 40 cents a meal. Now they won't have to pay that. They get it for free, which we had a good chunk of students on reduced, so.
Like 40.
I mean, what you're doing with your staff and everything, I mean, that's phenomenal. I wish that, there was other things that we could do.
I could give you numbers for the next meeting, let you know.
Matt just worked up a quick number and I know
I did
that-
50% of the students, and it's 50% of students. Tom gave me a number of
585.
585, I think I didn't use that. It's $140,000. So it's more than I've got in my back pocket.
Yeah, I know, and it's more than that the cafeteria fund could.
Yeah, no, it's more than, yeah.
It was a nice thought. It is a nice thought, and the
Yeah, I
state
mean-
really should be finishing what they started.
Well, that's part of the whole thing. I mean, there's a lot of mandates that are put out there and then they walk away and we're left holding the bag.
Brown paper bag.
Not even refrigerated.
We've got it out there for families. We'll certainly remind them over the next month that if they don't hit, they should fill out that form because you don't know until Lisa reviews it whether or not they'll qualify. If they qualify for reduced even, it'll be to the family's benefit, so.
Is that a fluid, like, for instance, let's just say a mom loses her job and
They can
that's a
reapply.
fluid.
They can fill out an application anytime
Okay, so,
throughout the school year. That should be in our handbooks. in our memos.
I don't know if that's in there, is there?
Yeah, and we probably should remind folks that they can reapply at any time their family circumstances change.
Right.
I think it says that right on the application as well. It's on the meal application.
Okay. We don't have to vote on anything for this. This was just informational.
Thank you.
So has anybody received correspondence? I mean, legitimate correspondence?
Only what's in the villager.
Or on Facebook?
Yeah. That's why she specified legitimate.
Wow.
All right. So do we have any citizens' comments at this time on our Zoom audience?
Yep, there's somebody. Sound has gone down very low and hard to hear.
Everybody looks at Bryce. We've been hacked.
No, okay. Then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
She did, she asked.
I didn't know in the audience.
Any audience here with citizens comment?
I'll make a citizen's comment.
Okay, hi, all right.
Anybody interested in WPTP calendar?